Alarms exploded into Captain Ethan Cole's consciousness before his eyes opened. Warning, slipstream collapse. Gravity anomaly detected. The cockpit shook like a wild animal thrashing in a cage. The control stick jerked against his hands. Red crackled across every display screen like veins of lightning. Come on, baby, hold together. Ethan pulled the emergency stabilizers. The Aurora 9 groaned in protest. Through the viewport, space fragmented into streaks of violet. The slipstream tunnel twisted into a spiral, throwing the ship sideways. He slammed into the harness, teeth rattling. A blinding flash swallowed everything. Then gravity vanished. Then it returned twice as strong. Ethan's vision blurred. Metal screamed. The ship snapped out of slipstream and plummeted. Below, an endless surface of indigo forests and strange glowing rivers. Planet detected, the onboard AI announced weakly before dying. The last thing Ethan saw was the ground rising fast. Impact. Silence. Only the gentle hiss of cooling metal remained. Ethan hung upside down, strapped in by his harness. The cockpit was cracked open, the canopy crushed inward. Bitter smoke filled his lungs. He coughed, and braced his arms against the broken panel, easing pressure off his ribs. He unhooked himself, and dropped to the angled floor with a dull thud. Every bone ached, but nothing felt broken. Crushed consoles lay around him. Sparks crackled. A torn bulkhead opened into the jungle beyond, a hole punched straight through the hull. A purple light filtered through the foliage. The air smelled like rain and something sweet, like crushed fruit. Ethan pulled his emergency pack from beneath a fallen panel. Inside, multi-tool plasma cutter, 2 med patches, locator beacon, a folding carbon spear. Not much, but enough to survive. He clipped the spear to his belt and staggered toward the shattered opening. Outside, the world took his breath. Giant trees spread wide leaves like violet wings. A deep river shimmered nearby, reflecting twin moons overhead. The night sky held unfamiliar constellations. The forest whispered, alive with unseen motion. No signal from home. No response from command. Ethan forced himself to breathe slowly. Panic wastes oxygen. Thinking saves lives. He touched the beacon. The light blinked red. No interstellar network. Great, he muttered. Black hole map error, alternate reality, or I just discovered planet nowhere. A faint rustle answered him. He spun toward the sound. Figures emerged from the tree line, tall, slender silhouettes. They moved quietly but not clumsily. When they stepped into the moonlight, Ethan froze. They were female. All of them. Skin a pale silver tone, faintly glowing along their cheekbones and collarbones with tribal markings. Hair braided with feathers and beads. Eyes large and luminous, not human, not threatening, but wary. Each held a spear tipped with crystal. The lead girl, maybe 19 by human comparison, stopped just 10 feet away. She tilted her head, watching Ethan with intense curiosity. Ethan raised his hands slowly. I'm not hostile, he said. Just crashed. I need help. The girls exchanged glances. Their language was sharp and melodic. One murmured, Chalen Vero? The leader stepped closer. She studied Ethan like he was a new species, which he was, to them. She touched the broken hull with her spear tip and whispered, Sky torn. Then she pointed at Ethan. You fall from sky? He nodded cautiously. Yes. My ship crashed. She touched her chest. Iria. Iria. Her name. Ethan gestured to himself. Ethan. She copied his motion. Ethan. The way she said it sounded like something sacred. A sudden growl cut through the air, deep, guttural, too close. The girls stiffened. Iria's eyes widened in alarm. Ethan pivoted toward the riverbank where moonlight glinted off the surface. Something moved, a black shape slipping from the shadows. Low to the ground, too smooth, too silent. Another growl. Closer. Predator? Ethan asked sharply. Iria didn't need to answer. Her posture tightened with fear. From the underbrush, a creature leapt, a mass of dark hide and long limbs. Its jaws split into 4 hooked mandibles dripping with saliva. Its eyes reflected moonlight like polished obsidian. The alien girls backed away instinctively, spears trembling. Ethan's heart hammered. Fear later. Move now. He snapped open his carbon spear. Stay behind me, he commanded. Arya blinked, stunned. The others hesitated. The creature lunged. Ethan stepped forward and drove the spear upward into the creature's throat. The force jolted through his arms. The creature screamed, a piercing, distorted sound, and staggered back. The girls gasped. They had never seen that kind of precision, or bravery. The creature attacked again. Ethan set his stance and pivoted, dragging the spear along its side. It shrieked, stumbled, then collapsed in the mud. Silence fell. Only the river whispered. Ethan breathed hard, adrenaline shaking through him. Sweat dripped down his back. He fought the urge to collapse. Arya approached the dead beast, nudging it with her spear. She stared at Ethan not with fear now, but awe. Human, fight monster. He corrected her gently. I defended myself. And you? Her expression softened. The others gathered around him, whispering. Words repeated among them. Sky warrior. Protector. Male. Arya took a careful step closer. Her fingers brushed Ethan's wrist, curious. He didn't flinch. Her voice was quiet. Reverent. Teach us. Ethan blinked. Teach you what? Arya tapped her spear, then pointed to the jungle. Teach, hunt. Her tribe gathered behind her, determination replacing fear. Their grip on their weapons strengthened. They weren't afraid anymore. They wanted to learn. Ethan scanned the jungle. Shadows still moved out there. There would be more predators. There always were. He looked back to Arya. First, he said, we get away from the crash site. There could be more of those creatures. Arya nodded and gestured for the girls to lead them along a narrow path through the foliage. Ethan followed, steps steady despite exhaustion. The scent of wild fruit grew stronger as they moved deeper into the forest. Fireflies, or something like them, drifted between branches, casting tiny lights. They walked until the wreckage faded behind them. Ethan paused, taking in the alien world. He had no map. No signal. No guarantee of rescue. But he had found something unexpected. Not hostile conquerors. Not savage beasts. Potential allies. Arya stood before him, eyes bright. Ethan. You teach. We survive. Ethan tightened his grip on the spear. Deal. For the first time since waking in the wreckage, he felt purpose. He wasn't just surviving. He was leading. And whatever hunted these girls had just gained a new enemy. Ethan followed the silent procession of huntresses through the violet jungle. Moonlight filtered through huge leaves overhead, painting their path in shifting silver patterns. The young aliens moved with uncanny balance, stepping from root to root without disturbing the undergrowth. Ethan tried to mimic them but snapped a twig every few meters. One girl glanced back. Her expression said everything. Loud. Human. Strange. Arya motioned for a brief stop. She pointed to the ground near Ethan's boot. A footprint. Fresh. Three-toed. Deep. The same predator. Not the one Ethan killed, another. Ethan gripped his spear tighter. More of them? Arya nodded once. Night, dangerous. We move fast. She continued forward, maintaining a pace Ethan barely kept up with. He was trained, but these girls were born in terrain that would break most soldiers. The forest gradually thinned. Ahead, a cliff rose with a narrow path carved into the stone. The huntresses climbed in a single line, scaling the natural steps with practiced speed. Ethan's legs burned as he climbed behind them. The view opened up. The crashing wreck was now far below, partially hidden by trees. Past the ridge stood their home. A village hidden among enormous stone columns, like a natural fortress. Rope bridges connected each pillar, and carved platforms served as homes. Lanterns made of bioluminescent plants cast warm light across the settlement. It was primitive, yet mesmerizing. Iria stopped at the edge, raised 2 fingers to her lips, and whistled. A gate of woven vines unfastened from within. The girls ushered Ethan inside. Children peeked from behind storage baskets. Older huntresses sharpened crystal-tipped spears. Elders with faded markings stirred cooking fires. Every gaze locked on Ethan. Whispering surged. Sky warrior. Male. He slayed the night beast. Their language held both awe and caution. Iria placed a hand on Ethan's back and guided him toward a circular platform near the central fire. She signaled him to sit. He lowered himself onto a stone bench. Within moments, a group of elders stepped into the light. They wore heavier markings, older and duller, like bruised starlight. Bracelets of talon and bone wrapped their wrists. The eldest, a stern woman with a scar across her temple, addressed Iria. You bring stranger into sacred ground. Iria stood tall. He saved us. The elder turned to Ethan. Her eyes held intelligence and suspicion. Why here, Skyman? Ethan chose honesty. My ship malfunctioned. I didn't choose your world. A murmur. One huntress hissed. He lies. Men do not fall from sky. Ethan leaned forward, voice steady. Check the wreckage. It's real. Iria raised her chin. I saw it with my eyes. We all did. Another elder, calmer than the rest, studied Ethan with curiosity. Human. Why defend our young? Ethan could have lied. Instead, he answered simply. I don't abandon people who need help. Silence followed. Not distrust, contemplation. The stern elder finally spoke. This village is called Ashen Blossoms. We hide from stalkers. We cannot fight them. We survive by avoiding. Ethan remembered how the creature had nearly killed Iria. Surviving wasn't working. You could defend yourselves, Ethan said. With training. Several huntresses stiffened at the word. Training implied war. The elder shook her head. We are not warriors. Iria stepped forward. We must learn. Her voice cracked with something raw, frustration, fear, determination. She faced the circle of elders. Every season we lose more. Sisters vanish in fog. Stalkers drag them into the deep forest. If we do nothing, we end like them. The elder didn't answer. Iria took a breath, then spoke a single word with heavy meaning. Enough. That word carried weight. A turning point. Ethan felt something shift, not cultural, not political, something personal. These girls were not helpless. They were untrained. He stood and addressed the elders directly. Let me help them. A younger elder leaned forward. What does human want in return? I need salvage from my ship. Tools. Materials. Maybe communication parts. He hesitated. And food. Your fruit is edible, I think. The calm elder nodded slowly. Fair exchange. The stern elder, however, narrowed her eyes. There is another tribe. The Red Crest. They watch us. They steal what they cannot grow. If they see human with us, they will take him. Why? Ethan asked. She pointed at his collapsed emergency pack. They crave power. They will use your sky things to rule. So there was a political rival. Iria stepped beside Ethan. Let them try. A sudden horn blared from the far side of the village. Deep. Urgent. A signal. Huntresses raced toward the edge platforms, gripping weapons. Ethan followed Iria onto a lookout bridge stretched between pillars. Below, torches flickered among trees. A group approached, organized, disciplined, and armed with darker weapons than crystal spears. They wore red paint and hide armor. The Red Crest tribe. At the front stood a woman different from the others. Taller. Older. Her markings glowed like blood under moonlight. Matron Azelra. Even from a distance, Ethan sensed control in her posture, a ruler who never accepted. No. She lifted her spear and called to the cliffside village. Ashen blossoms! We heard rumors. A strange creature fell from the sky. She paused, voice sharp and confident. Give him to us. Ethan's pulse tightened. Iria's jaw clenched. The elder from earlier stepped forward. He is not yours to claim. Azelra smirked. All things on this planet belong to strength. Her warriors lifted their bows. Weapons aimed at the ridge. Iria leaned close to Ethan, whispering without moving her lips. Do not speak. She wants your voice. Power. Azelra pointed her spear directly at Ethan. Human. If you walk with us, we protect you. Ethan remained silent. Azelra's eyes narrowed. Or we take you. Every huntress raised her weapon, a wall of defiance between Ethan and the red crest. The air held the tension of a drawn bowstring. Ethan broke the silence with calm precision. You're not taking me anywhere. Azelra studied him, expression unreadable. Then she smiled, a slow, dangerous smile. Then war begins. She signaled to her warriors. They vanished back into the forest, leaving the words hanging like a threat. When the gates closed, the village exhaled collectively. Ethan turned to Iria. This just got complicated. Iria nodded once. You train us tomorrow. Her voice wasn't asking. It was a promise. Later, Ethan sat near the fire, rolling the carbon spear across his palm. Iria sat next to him, setting dried fruit on a leaf. You're risking a lot, he said. She looked at him with steady eyes. Risk is better than waiting to die. He didn't answer, but he understood. Better than anyone. He checked the emergency beacon again. The light blinked, weak, struggling. Far from home, surrounded by danger, Ethan realized something. He hadn't been needed like this in a long time. As the flames crackled, Iria leaned forward. Tomorrow, you show us how humans fight. Ethan tightened the strap of the spear. Tomorrow, he said. We prepare for war.